Good Monday morning. Let's go ahead and get airborne, folks. It is 10 a.m. on the East Coast. We're knocking out a joint brief. Holy college football Batman. Holy Amazon Batman. We are blessed. Absolutely phenomenal. A lot of good stuff going on. We're doing a joint brief today because I'm leaving. Well, what do I got? Like an 11 o'clock flight out of Palm Beach up to Boston with all the ATC outages and ground stops and everything like that. I'm going to the airport at the crack of dawn tomorrow just in case. So no brief tomorrow, and then technically Wednesday you are going to have a brief. You're going to log in and watch my panel up at Harvard Law School. So let me give you the link to register for that if you want to watch the live stream. Towards psychedelic access, go faster or slower, right? So it's 12:20 to 1:20. It's lunch because before that and after that, it's a closed door. 25 of the 500-pound heads in the psychedelic space. I don't know how I got invited, so that's going to be funny. But you know, I'm looking forward to this. Obviously, you guys know what my answer is going to be, right? Fast and slow are relative. The fastest I've gone in my life is Mach 1.8. It's over 1,400 miles per hour. So fast and slow is relative. So looking forward to it. I haven't been to Boston in a long time. So that's going to be exciting. Other update on November 10th. Yeah, November 10th at 7. I'm going to launch. It's right before Veterans Day or the Veterans Day Eve. We're launching. We're already airborne, obviously. We've done three retreats so far. Our next one's coming up December 5 through 7. We have 4 TGO members coming. The rest will be veterans and first responders. So really excited to see all our TGO folks, and they're helping to fund the veterans that are showing up. So good on our Topkin Options wingman. I appreciate it. You're welcome, Ben. I am very happy that people are happy. We knew, right? Right? You just had to keep the faith in Amazon. And remember, folks, some of these new charts that I've seen with Amazon. First of all, Amazon, I'm not an idiot, right? It's the Death Star because it's destroying everything, man. It takes over everything. Entertainment, UPS, FedEx, Whole Foods, Microsoft, Azure, AWS was disgusting. And this morning they just signed a deal with OpenAI. Stock's up 5%. It was a matter of time. So again, do you want to put all your eggs into one basket in an NVIDIA, which if it pops, or not if, when it pops, you're going to get destroyed? Or would you rather have money's going to flow to safety, right? So, having everything from Amazon Prime to their own FedEx and UPS to AWS to you name it, Amazon Pharma. Susie and I just finally moved all of our stuff. What an absolute gift Amazon Pharma is. So anyway, yeah, you're welcome, Ben. So register for the brief if you want to attend. I'm actually going out to dinner tomorrow night in Boston with one of the board members of Demorex. He wants me to meet a bunch of other hedge fund psychedelics folks. So I'm going to be getting, even though we got no brief Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going to be getting a shitload of intel on the psychedelic space and I know about the psychedelic space, the money and the investing in the psychedelic space. So I'm really, really excited for this trip up to Boston. Okay. Again, it's comical. I had my bacon and eggs, my Sunday morning coffee, and watched the Sunday shows. Treasury Secretary Bessent. Where's the deal? Like, oh well, I think they're meeting. I thought they were meeting at the end of last week to science. Is there a deal? Yeah, there was one in April. Oh, okay, well, there wasn't. So I don't know. Okay, I just I don't know. So I mean, the market's kind of rallying, and on that, look at the Amazon chart. That's a gap up on real quick. I already sold some calls against it. I sold the 267.5s out to Friday. I'll start with my tactical stuff in case it starts skipping a little bit back. I'm going to be trading in and out of these calls, man. Look at that move. Holy folks, it doesn't get more bullish than this, right? Gap move. It didn't even, here's half the gap where the E is, right? There's half your gap. So gap move, fades a little, and then pops. This, you can take a screenshot of that and put it in your SOP of the most bullish earnings move technical analysis picture ever, right there. So absolute insanity. Got a low fuel light on my laptop, so let me plug this one in, my other one. So that doesn't get any more bullish. Obviously, it's popping on the OpenAI deal, which I'll brief in a second, but that's the gift that keeps on giving. So I already sold some short calls, but anyway, I was going to go over to SPX. That's still Amazon. 60, and let's go get tactical and look at SPX. There's some craziness going on. Obviously, we'll debrief Jerome Powell in a couple minutes here, but pops, drops, as we get toward, look at that, man. Look at a 10-day chart of the S&P 500. There is just big intraday moves here. I was chatting with Mike. Mike might be showing us some proprietary sniper shot work he's doing. Looking forward to talking about that, but a lot of volatility going on. I like it, right? You want to be an option seller. But back to this, who knows? The market's actually, in my opinion, obviously the market only cares when it cares. We're like past all of this stuff. We're immune to it. We know Trump and Xi, and they'll figure something out, and it's probably going to be bullshit. But we need the market to move up and to the right. So let's just all pretend that whatever they agree is good for the market, right? This was embarrassing. So we haven't spoken. A lot's happened since we spoke, from the Fed meeting to trade deals or not deals, and Amazon earnings. So we have a lot to talk about. He's lost. They're absolutely lost. Fed divisions revealed new caution over continued cuts. There was 2 dissenters. One said no cut, and one said 50. You can guess who the 50 was. The dude that Trump just put on the board. He said that last time, and he dissented. We need 50. Powell warns against assuming another rate cut is a done deal. Ooh. So you saw what happened, right? Did everybody, if you were in it, you got a max profit on your iron condor? Did everybody enjoy that? Give me a vertical head nod if you did. I did. I had one from the day before, and if you did the one that I covered, you got a max profit as well. So that was, up, down, and, much ado about nothing. So take this as a lesson learned, folks. Wide iron condor around any sort of announcement can be a safe thing. Now, Amazon earnings, which we'll get to, if you did a really wide iron condor, you got blown out of the top. So remember, whenever I say wide iron condor, I always brief what? There are people on the other side of that trade, man, that think you're an idiot, that it's going to blow through a top or a bottom. And with Amazon, they were right. But on the Fed meeting, beautiful iron condors last week on the S&P 500. We had a bunch of, I hate doing this because every time I do this, then I suck. We've been on a roll with our SPX sniper shots, man. We've been printing money. Now I'm screwed. But folks, this was an embarrassing press conference. The guy's clueless. He's lost. Jobs market sucks. Inflation is stagnant. And why did you cut? Again, based on everything he said, now don't get me wrong, I want cuts because equities go up and everything gets inflated. Your home and my stock portfolio, everything looks great for the evil 1 in 3% that we are. And it's going to be an absolute nightmare for the rest of we the people. Fed Chair Powell delivered a blunt message for investors who have assumed cruise control. Give us another cut in December. just like Coach Corso, not so fast. Rather than hide behind his porridge, right? Rather than hide behind cryptic and vague language that he uses all the time, he went out of his way to play up the divisions. He's the guy that likes consensus. He's like Chief Justice Roberts. Oh, let's all Rodney King this. Can't we all just get along? This was not a Rodney King. In fact, far from it. It's not a foregone conclusion to get a rate cut in December. As a matter of fact, far from it. If anything, ladies and gentlemen, if Trump would fire me, I'd be like, we probably need to, at a minimum, we're clearly sitting on our hands, or you might get a 25 basis point increase. Whoa. Powell's plain speaking reflected deepening divisions. Woo. Okay. Well, what's it depend on, Wiz? Well, two competing narratives, right? In one, AI is awesome and the stock market's awesome and business and consumer spending. Consumer spending's imploded. You see Chipotle last week? Holy shit. On the other hand, the effects of higher interest rates combined with changes in trade and immigration policies finally catch up to the labor market, pushing unemployment higher if the Fed stops cutting. Payroll growth has slowed this summer, and Powell said Wednesday that by some measures, job creation is close to zero. Did you hear that? Jobs market sucks. Inflation is elevated and stuck. Stagflation. Whoa. Folks, I was a child last time we were in this type of environment. So I'm not going to read all of that. It's a great article. Like, guess what, Chairman Powell? You made the bed. Now you got to sleep in it. I don't know how you get to keep your job, Mr. Transitory, for 2 years, and then this shit show. You should have raised rates last September 50 basis points in front of the election. You cut 50 and you caused even more of this crap. You're fired. Good vibes are back on Wall Street, though, right? Good vibes are back on Wall Street. That word right there does not say Main Street. While earnings are disgusting, people are getting destroyed. The jobs market, people are getting laid off and laid off and laid off and destroyed. Already, we talked about this last week. 500,000 at Amazon. Ain't going to be no humans in any of these places. There won't be any lights. Jeff Bezos, we're going to save money even on turning the lights off because robots don't need to see. Wow. And by the way, we're going to get rid of 14,000 white collar jobs as well. UPS, 48,000. More companies bet they can still grow without hiring. Holy shit, man. Why companies, this was over the weekend, why companies are no longer hanging on to employees. Remember, they were doing labor hoarding for a while there, holding on to employees for fear of not being able to get them back later. Done. They were keeping people around like just in case, like let's be overstaffed a little bit because it was a buyer's market. You don't like it? I'm going somewhere else. Oh no, we don't want that to happen. No, that has completely shifted. It is a seller's market right now. This is horrific. Big tech is spending more than ever on AI, and it's still not enough. After Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and Amazon reported, now you're starting to see the questions. They're going to increase spending in 2026. Are we in a bubble? Of course we are. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the, where is it? There was a big CapEx. Look at that. Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook. They will never be Meta and Alphabet. How's that metaverse going? You change your name from Facebook to Meta and it failed. And then, of course, it's Google. We don't want to be a search engine. We don't want to be a social media platform. Let's change our names. Okay. Amazon told investors that it is moving as quickly as it can to bring new capacity online because it can make money off those investments immediately. That's what you want to see. You're going to see us continue to be very aggressive in investing in capacity because we see the demand. As fast as we're adding capacity right now, we're monetizing it. This is why Amazon's popping. This is why it's going to the moon. The old stagnant Amazon is dead. Meta didn't offer, but folks, Amazon, out of all the four names or the seven, if you want to go that, but the four right here, this one does everything else. This doesn't, this doesn't, this doesn't. Out of the four on the screen, when something bad happens and there's a pop or whatever, or we're all unemployed, Amazon will be less destroyed. I guarantee you. A hopeful sign of investor sanity in the AI boom. Stockholders in big tech are doing what? We want to see, show me the money, right? Jerry Maguire, whatever that movie was. Show me the money. So, ladies and gentlemen, some of these names, and they got hammered last week. They're not showing us the money. The names that are showing us the money are getting rewarded for that. So I love it. AI growth is exploding. We already talked about this. That's kind of the power issue that, there's no power to meet these demands. Tens of thousands of white-collar jobs are disappearing as AI starts to bite. Layoffs at companies ranging from Amazon to Target are sending young and experienced workers alike into an unwelcoming market. You saw the email I sent to my son, John Peter, last week. I talked to him on the phone over the weekend. He is going to start looking into the military as a backup again. The jobs market sucks, and AI is. It's interesting because Chamath, at one of his podcasts recently, he's like, companies are just using AI as the excuse to gut waste. Doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't matter when you get your layoff letter or you meet with the HR director. It doesn't really matter if they say it was AI or we're just reducing overhead. You're still fired, right? So I'm telling you, man, this is an absolute horror. Okay. Again, Target corporate roles, UPS corporate roles, Amazon corporate roles. These are white collar jobs. And this is why Jerome Powell was kind of wishy-washy. I'm like, hey, man, when somebody working at Amazon warehouse loses their job, it's a horror. Less of an impact to the economy. They don't make a ton of money. They're not spending a ton of money. But, of course, it's going to impact the economy a little bit. When you got a $500,000 a year Amazon senior vice president who just got clipped because of AI, how's that person paying their $10,000 a month mortgage? How's that person paying for college for their kids, folks? I'm telling you, and who was it, Waller? The Fed lieutenant last week said that. The job destruction is coming first. We're years away from seeing if what happens after that dust settles. So, again, you and I are in a live trade brief right now, and this is great news. Our Amazon position, many of you are in synthetic stock, are up hundreds, if not thousands of percent. It's bad. Monetize all this shit while you can, folks. Okay? Look at this chart. 88% chance 2025 tech layoffs will exceed. Look at this. Anybody see when ChatGPT was launched right here in 2023? What did the S&P 500 do? This was Joe Biden's bear market. Remember that? The media doesn't like to talk about that one that much. That was a 25% implosion in the S&P 500 under Biden. But when Trump wants to make tariffs and trade fair, their faces melted off. Anyway, then what happened? ChatGPT. And remember, folks, NVIDIA, the market cap of NVIDIA is larger than every country's GDP except like us and China. There are the job openings. We will look back in history to this moment. We are looking back in history at this moment. How many times have I told you when these type of that divergence is going on, it usually ends horrifically. Okay? Not good. Let's talk about the good. Amazon and OpenAI strike a $38 billion compute deal as the Microsoft exclusive ends. Again, I'm going to lead with this. I don't get it. It sounds like the circular self-licking ice cream cone. Oh, well, there you go. The circular AI funding headline arrived 30 minutes ahead of when the market opened. Here we go. Amazon inks $38 billion deal with OpenAI to supply NVIDIA chips. Wait a minute, Andy. I thought Amazon titanium, what are the name? We'll look at them in a second. Their titanium whatever chips are cheaper and faster than NVIDIA's, and we're going to destroy NVIDIA. Then what's this? I don't. Again, I'm the idiot with some of this stuff. Or Occam's razor. The most logical thing is it. It's all bullshit. Amazon shares jumped, extending their 10, 15% pop last week, right? Unbelievable. Supply OpenAI with NVIDIA chips. I thought Amazon had their own chips that were better than NVIDIA's. Okay. The AWS OpenAI deal comes just 1 week after Microsoft's rights ended. Okay. And there's the self-licking ice cream cone right here. OpenAI will immediately start utilizing AWS Compute as part of its partnership. Wow. I don't get it. Sam Altman, scaling frontier AI requires massive, reliable compute. Our partnership with AWS strengthens the broad compute ecosystem that will power this next era and bring advanced AI to everyone. However, doesn't Amazon need all these vast computing resources for its own ops? That's kind of what I don't get it. I just don't get it. Anyway, Amazon shares surge on 13% revenue jump. AWS cloud beat. Unbelievable earnings. I was shocked. And all of us remember I said the 242.5 calls were, right at the money straddle. I even said it. I'm like, man, there's a lot of premium up at the 245. Hell, if you want to go conservative, go 245, 247.5. Boom. Even those were blown out. The fact that there was so much premium in those, what was that? A 3 sigma beat? 4 sigma beat? Somebody knew something, man. I guarantee you somebody knew something. That was insane. Of course, I got blown out of my calls. I had to roll them up and do all that stuff. Holy crap. We'll get to the tech stuff, but ladies and gentlemen, AWS, hold on. Do I have, where is it? Solo. There was first thing I did was added to my solo brief, man. Where is it? The cloud. Oh yeah, look at this. Annual Amazon AWS revenue in billions. Folks, look at this. 12 years ago, it was an idea on a whiteboard in Andy Jassy's condo with Jeff Bezos, 3.1. Holy shit. That's a hockey stick, ladies and gentlemen, and that is just AWS, right? Revenue from AWS, the source of much of the company's profits, climbed 20%. The fastest growth to 2022. Holy crap. And then you just throw in these desserts. The company has expanded same-day delivery for groceries. Look at this. Where's that headline? Look at this. The Amazonification of Whole Foods is finally here. Bring on the Doritos. Amazon is shaking up the natural foods grocer with robots in the back room and Pepsi outside the exit in its push for a bigger slice of the supermarket business. What an absolute horror. So that dude, in about a year or two, will be fired. Did you not see the Tesla bots? You can buy them for 20 grand to come to your house and do your wash and make the bed and do all sorts of other stuff. That guy will be fired. Okay. Which is sad. So Whole Foods, unbelievable. Amazon's cloud business won't be an AI laggard for long. The company's cloud computing arm disappointed investors with growth recently. That is changing, right? The most recent earnings type of, oh, the stock sold off was based on what? That. So again, over to the trade floor, gave me a great debrief, man. Everything was a beat. It was insane. So Ernie, everything was a beat. I'm not even going to dig into it, man. Let's just do our hedge fund read through. AWS re-acceleration is the thesis. AI training inference workloads are showing up in orders and reserved capacity. Wow. High margin flywheel, Amazon Web Services and their ads, folks. They're fishing. They're not even fishing in Google's pool anymore. They have their own lake. That's just free money. Obviously, the CapEx. It's a feature, not a bug, if utilization ramps. The street rewarded Amazon for spending because demand signals what? Quality of the earnings, X one-offs, operating leverage is intact. Note the non-operating gains highlighted in the press release when comparing net income year over year. All right, so I said, hey, man, give me bullish 1, 3, 5-year case. We don't need to read it all. Here we go. Let me get to the bottom here. Here are the bull case price targets using today's price, and this was pre-market. Obviously, we're up 5, 6%, whatever it is. I said, give me the bullish case because he gave me bullish, base, and then bearish, right? A year from now, $300. 3 years from now, 422. 5 years from now, 608. So chat, folks, is not like these research desk analysts who should be fired, right? How many times in a live trade brief have you and I chuckled together at breaking news? Wiz Investments just raised their target on Amazon to 270. Okay, for when? 270. Well, I can do that too. 270 by when? 270. Okay, you're fired. Me? Give me the stock price based on your, because humans don't like being pinned down like that, do they? Well, it's 270 and it, in the future. Yeah, okay, thanks for that. That means nothing to me. Look at that. What are we up to right now? Let's go look at our Amazon. So I sold a short call. What a beautiful chart on Amazon. So I sold out the Friday, I sold the 267.5 on Amazon. Okay. Is everybody happy with Amazon? Everybody have their synthetic stock? Does everybody have what they need? A short call out the Friday. I almost, so when something's on a tear, what do I say? Either join it or get out of the way. I don't think we're going to implode. I don't like forcing trades. Here's what I'm thinking through. I'm like, I like a bull put spread here, maybe, down at half the gap, because I don't think we're going to do some massive gap fill. And even if we did, what did I say half the gap is? To 235? Let me just go out real quick. Is there any premium? No. See there, and there's no premium where if I wanted to do a weekly bull put spread, 235, 232.5. Yeah, there's zero premium. You'd have to go up to like, no, I'm not even going to do it. Nope, not even worth it. Let's do this. JP, I'd close it. Yes. If your Santa Claus trade or your bullish double vertical, remember, what's my rule of thumb? A violent move. I'm glad you asked that. That's on my list to talk about, but let's talk about it right now. Folks, when, not if, because we're positive thinkers, you get a violent move in the direction of your synthetic stock, close it. I would absolutely close out the Santa Claus trade. 100%. Supreme Court Justice Potter, when he tried to define pornography. I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. Guess what, folks? That's a violent move. If you believe it's going to be keep going, then you hang. But that's a violent move. We might get a gap fill here. Like, okay, that was a little much out of Amazon. We like it. We're gonna, support becomes resistance, and resistance becomes support. We might see a pullback here. We see a pullback here, I'll re-enter the Santa Claus trade. But great question. Barry, my prompts were, let me show you my prompt. Right there. Give me a debrief on Amazon earnings as a hedge fund manager and what it means for the future earnings and stock price 1, 3, 5 years out. Again, if I walked over to my trade desk in Chicago drinking my coffee, that would have taken a while. And then they would have not given me what I asked for. So here's what I did. Based on today's share price and bullish case, give me stock price target, not percentage, because it did it. It did this whole bull case. We think, 20%, blah. I'm like, dude, I'm a political science major. Stop with the percentage. Give me the stock price. And of course it did it. I mean, I could have done that, but I'm lazy. Yes, Ann. It's the Jan 26 Santa Claus trade. Absolutely. You should be, I closed mine on Friday. You should be printing money. You're printing even more money today as the stock's up 5%. So yes, I would. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I did. I closed my Santa Claus trade. Okay. All right. There's a couple more questions. Let me scroll up here. I don't. Better to do synthetic or sell put spread by call. Preston, if you don't have a synthetic stock position on, I would do a synthetic stock position right now. We did one last week. And there's a perfect example of me saying what? Hey, man, it could go down on earnings and you'll get it a little cheaper. So if you want to wait until earnings to put one on, that's up to you. Or it could have incredible earnings. The stock's going to gap up and run and you're going to kick yourself. So I hate being the guy that says, I told you so. Should have put it on last week. Even if it went down, you should have put it on last week. If you're looking years into the future on Amazon and you're like, man, I really like this name, especially looking at, folks, look at these numbers. Again, I put the bullish case. Now, I forget what he was saying in the middle here, base case right here. He gave me a base case, blah, 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 10 to 11%, blah, 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 blah. Upper right path, but more muted after the post earnings pop. Think high single to low double-digit returns unless AI re-excels further. It ain't decelerating, dude. What are you talking about? So that's why I say give me the bull case. And obviously, I don't believe in a bear case. Remember, folks, unlike Microsoft, Facebook, and Google, this has everything else. Doritos at Whole Foods, Amazon Prime. I'm rewatching The Chosen again because I love it. Amazon truck in my yard and an Amazon airplane flying over. None of those other companies have any of that stuff. This is the Death Star. Get into it. Okay, now we're in a joint brief. So I'm going to sit on my hands other than that short call on Amazon. If we decide to roll over and maybe start filling this gap, maybe I'll look at a weekly bull put spread. Since there's no brief tomorrow or Wednesday's brief, you're going to watch Harvard. I'll send out alerts throughout the week. Obviously, I can trade from my phone at the hold short tomorrow if I'm not delayed type of thing. So I will be sending out alerts. I do think we're probably going to give some of this back. That's just insane. But I'm here for it. So other than that, for Amazon, I'm going to sit on my hands. Now, everybody look at this. This is a whiz failure moment. Does anybody know what happened? I woke up Saturday morning, went to yoga, got home, and saw 100 shares negative. I was short 100 shares. Guess what happened this morning? I tried to close 100 shares of JP Morgan, right? I'm like, man, I got to close these shares. What happened? I needed $31,000 in my account. I think I have like 40. I had to exit my synthetic stock. Now, my synthetic stock is one of my most profitable positions. You know, JP Morgan, well, 2,200 bucks. It was up a couple 100%. I had to bail out of my JP Morgan position. I'm not wiring 31 grand to close this trade right now. So I got out of my JP Morgan synthetic stock this morning. That happened to somebody else. Who was that? Are you in here? Dwayne, it was Dwayne. I had my what happened? Dwayne's in here somewhere. He gave a good debrief. I think you're in Lifetime, right? Yeah. Dwayne had a great debrief in here. Guys, what are we doing? We sent out like 5 emails about the joint brief. Anyway, Dwayne's got a good post in here. Dwayne, where'd you write that? No, Rick, it's a morning group of discussions with a bunch of 500-pound heads in the psychedelic space. Then there's lunchtime, and we're doing our panel at lunch, and then we go back to closed door stuff. In trades and Max Afterburner. Okay, let's go look at that. Max Afterburner, trade alerts. There it is. Look at what Dwayne said. I did what Wiz said not to do. Let shares of a call spread be assigned. I didn't see that, Dwayne. I did. I had my order in and everything. The 310, 312 and a half call spread. It closed at 311. I was so focused on, what was it, Amazon. I completely lost track of it until Saturday morning to find out he was short 2,100 shares of JP Morgan at 310. So I put in a buy order after hours on Sunday night to buy 2,100 shares. Woke up this morning and all is well. I lost less than the maximum amount anyway, but it sure is scary to look at your account and see what? A lot of red and yellow warnings and a big negative number, $650,000. So Dwayne and Wiz are telling you, warning. Does everybody understand that? You have got to, I sent out the warning. I'm the guy that sent out a warning that said, hey, man, roll up or close any short shares that are in the money. Okay. Any questions with that? Okay. So falling on our sword here, debriefing and giving some mutual support. That sucked. Okay. I'm probably gonna. Not probably. I will re-enter a JP Morgan long-term bull synthetic stock. I love JP Morgan. Love the name. If we're gonna, sell off a little bit, I'll wait to re-enter that just a little bit, maybe tomorrow. And yeah, I'll do a long-term bullish trade all the way out to Jan of 2028. But I had to close the synthetic stock, which sucked. Wasn't happy about that. Cboe, CBOE. Blowout earnings, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. There's your earnings right there. Pop. It got as high as like 251 when it opened. So everybody, you should be. Look at that gap move, filled the gap, and it's still up here. That's bullish. Could not be more bullish on Cboe. I would look at selling out to Friday. I'd sell, well, the 237 and a halves are Cboe is thinly traded, so somebody can move this shit around. 250s obviously would be conservative. The 250s out to Friday against your synthetic stock would be conservative. 247 and a half, pretty aggressive. We could all buy 1,000 shares of Cboe right now and pop this stock up a little bit. So be careful on short calls in Cboe. Okay. Speaking of, let's go back to JP Morgan though. For short calls out to Friday. $312.5. would be somewhat aggressive. The free 315s at 100 would be conservative. Conservative 315, 312 and a half, a little bit more aggressive. I mean, if let's look at the chart. If you think SIBO, if you think JP Morgan's going to keep rolling down here, you can always go closer to at the money, right? I wouldn't do 307 and a half, maybe a 310, right? I don't know why JP Morgan's selling off here, but we got support down at 302 and a half. I'm not worried about JP Morgan at all. Preston, that's what I said. Yep. I had to close out. It's right here. This is why I asked. I said, does anybody know what this means? So yes, I had to close out. I could not. So I had my synthetic stock position and negative 100 shares. I tried to close out the negative 100 shares and it said, what? You don't have the buying power, dude. It's 30 to buy 100 shares of JP Morgan at the open was 31 grand. I'm like, oh shit. I'd have to sell everything in my portfolio. I'm like, all right, I'll just close out the underlying too. I had to close out the synthetic stock. So yes, I am out of my JP Morgan synthetic stock because I got to assign shares. I did not do what I was supposed to do on Friday. I was all Amazoned. Greg Wiz, is it close out all short calls regardless of expiration? No, Greg. When I send that alert on Friday, it's for any short calls expiring that day. When I say, hey, man, it's just me being a good wingman. If you got any short calls that expired today that are closed at the money or in the money or bear call spreads, close them, man. Or you're gonna wake up like I did and Dwayne did Saturday morning with negative 100 shares of something. Okay. Again, I hate saying this, but this is probably, I used to say I could count on one hand the number of times I've been assigned shares like that in 34 years. I think this is the sixth. So now I got to say two hands. But guess what? It ended up working out for me because the stock's down right now. So net, the position was profitable. But don't bank on that, folks. Excuse me. Why? Because I remind you of what happened with what was that? It was Amazon at one point. I had like 6,000 shares. This happened to me. I had 6,000 shares short. This was when I was trading my, $2-3 million portfolio. But still, it's I closed them the instant at the open. Thank God the stock was down. I made whatever it was, 12 grand, 18 grand on the short shares. But I swear to God, this, everything happens exactly how it's supposed to and for a reason. I got filled on that, made 12 to 18 grand, whatever the exact amount was. And I'm like, wow, one potato, two potato. The stock turned around and went up a couple percent that day. I would, if I had gotten out at like the closing bell at the share price, I would have lost like $90,000 had I not closed those shares at the open. So, okay. So, Lawrence, it's not an Amazon brief, it's a joint brief. So that's why I'm going through SIBO, JP Morgan, and all the other names and positions. So, what's getting hammered? All right, we can move over to psychedelics. Let's look at MindMed, MNMD. No idea. No idea why MindMed's getting hammered. Let's go look at a tie. We can walk over to our trading floor. I don't know. Let's go look. Let's ask the question. Why are Mind and MND? And some of these people might be there Wednesday, so I'll ask in person, but why are MindMed and a tie getting hammered today? And by the way, if they're getting hammered today, buy them. If you loved MindMed at $12 and whatever it's at, buy it with both hands. Now, this chat sucks like this. It doesn't know if somebody just did something. Is there any news? No. Yes, I hate when they do this. Do you want me to dig deeper into all of that? Don't make me ask you. Nah, I mean that was kind of that was bullish. I mean that we had a big pop on that last week. I would look to add. I would look to add right now. Period. Why? I. It's a gift. As a matter of fact, I would do that right now. Oh, NNE, real quick. I sold the 50 call. NNE is, NNE is, and these new name power AI names, it's like trading Mara, whatever that Bitcoin name was years ago when I went through that phase. I might add to my Atai position, man. This is a gift. I might add more calls to this. So, and yeah, well, and to that point, the market overall, folks, is extended, right? Somebody was like, "Hey, should I close my tredge?" I'm like, "Why?" We're a little top heavy up here right now, folks. If anything, we might be heading back down to the 20-day. I would not close any dredges. I think we're going to go kiss the 20-day here. Great tech earnings, or some great tech earnings, and then now what does the market do? What's next? Who gives a shit? That was last week. Be present or not be present. Look into the future. Well, looking into the future right now, folks, is what Jerome Powell saying. You ain't getting it. No, 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 not so fast. Ain't no December rate cut on the flight schedule. All right, before I forget, let's go look at Raytheon because I know that's in the model portfolio. RTX. That's been the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, look at that pop on earnings, and it's a hover. So all the names that I've covered have popped and hovered, haven't even made a head nod to fill the gap. Extremely bullish on Raytheon. Out to Friday. Yeah, the 180s would be it. I mean, because the other ones are pretty damn close at the money. The 180 call if you want to against your synthetic stock. But yeah, I don't know. I'll tomorrow night at dinner I'm going out with psychedelic hedge fund people, so who own a shitload more than I do of these names. So I'll find out. Did anybody release a study today? Um, yeah, you could do that if you have short calls on. I think I do. What are my short calls doing? I have the no 15s. So there you go. I made $600 in these short calls. I'm going to adjust. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Let's roll. I'm going to roll these down. Take some money off the table and roll them down. Let me put the stock up in the background here. I'm going to roll them down to the 14s. I mean, if you want to go aggressive, roll them down to the 13s. That's $700. I don't know what the reason is it's going down, so I'm going to go conservative. I'm going to roll them down to the 14s. Take some profit and maybe make a little bit more. And then a tie. I think all we got is the 7.5s. Yeah. The strikes on a tie really aren't too well, there's a 6. That would be aggressive, folks. Rolling them down to the 6s. But remember, this is a 2x1. I have 5 uncovered calls that could rip. Well, these calls are only up 38%. That would be pretty aggressive. Nah, never mind. They're really not at a profit target yet. So you could, if you wanted to, if you have this type of trade on it, this is a 2x1, right? I have 10 long calls all the way out to Jan 18. I'm selling half against the front month. Why do I do that? I sell half because breaking news, Pfizer just bought a tie and the stock rips. I got 5 that are free agents, man. They can go to the moon. So I'm not gonna do that. Okay. Any questions on those? So I don't know, and to be what's going on with these names, and I really don't care because I know the power of the sector, and this is MindMed Nove 25 shorts rolled down to. I just showed you. I just talked through this. I said I'm rolling my down to the 14. The aggressive would be rolled down to the 13. So I'm MindMed. I'm rolling. I have the 15s. I sold the 15s. I'm rolling mine down to the 14s. If you're aggressive, you go down to 13. Make sense? You good with that? All right. What time is it? I want to do. Did I cover all of our names? Any questions on existing positions? I covered short calls. I covered what I'm doing, what I'm not doing. Any questions on existing positions? Your question above. What is your question above? No, if that's is that a trudge, Ann? If it's a trudge, I'm not touching it. If it's the bullish position, I'm not touching that either. The bullish on America trades are looking great. This one's from a couple weeks ago. It's up 40%. I think in the model portfolio we have this one. The D's 28, 11,000, 12,000. That's looking pretty good. Oh, XLY. Yeah, if it's a trudge, you guys know me, man. I don't touch trudges, especially let's go look at SPX. I don't touch trudges when the market looks like this, right? Gap up, implosion. Rip your face off rally, implosion. We are at record highs, and we are we're going through some convulsions up here. Look at that. Look at a 1 month chart of SPX, man. We ripped to record highs, and now these are convulsions, folks. I feel, I'll say it again. I just said it 10 minutes ago. I think we're going back down to the 20-day. This is the tech earnings rip, and now you're seeing. Look at these convulsions, folks. So 6,900. If this is a better picture for you, let's go look at that. Right? Here's your tech earnings rip, and then convulsions. I think we're going back to. Long answer your short question. No, I'm not. I wouldn't touch a trudge right now, folks. We're still closed. That's why I'm going to the airport tomorrow at the crack of dawn. I don't even know if my flight's going to make it. I hope so, or it doesn't get canceled. There's so much shit going on. So trust me. Anytime in the past when I'm like, man, should I close my trudge? 1 potato, 2 potato, horror happens. And I'm like, thank God. Does anybody remember last time we had a trudge on and people were asking me what to do? What happened within a day or two? That happened. So it was, quote, lose. You never lose money on a trudge. If you think you're losing money on a trudge, you did it for the wrong reason. You placed a trade. If it was a trudge, you wouldn't care that it was, quote, losing money because it protected your longs. Last time we had this should I close the trudge discussion was right there, and that happened. Breaking news, China's banning all rare earth exports, and Trump just said we're in a trade war again. Boom! People are like, holy shit, thank God I didn't close that out. Precisely. Look at what Mike just said. Yep, I've done that. Closed a trudge, and then 1 potato, 2 potato, pound. And you're like, shit. Not only are you pissed at yourself, you're pissed that your longs are getting hammered. And you're pissed you closed the trudge for, quote, a loss, and it would have been profitable. So, folks, when you get into anything, sit up straight and listen to me if you're not paying attention. What is your commit criteria? Not mine. Don't regurgitate mine to me. Why did you get into the trade? If they're for the reasons that are similar to mine, that's great. You can regurgitate. But if those haven't changed, why would you close it? If the 3 to 5 sentences as to why you got into that trade change, bail if you want. The 3 to 5 sentences as to why I got into a trade actually right now are even stronger. We had massive tech earnings, but we just had a Fed meeting where the dude's like, you ain't getting, whoa, throttle back. December rate cut. What's that clip? Playoffs. Who's that coach? Playoffs. Talking about playoffs. Rate cut. You talking about rate cut? So, folks, the dust is settling this week on blowout tech earnings. Wait, but Meta and Google didn't have, yeah, Amazon did. Okay, that's a one-trick pony. We're not getting a rate cut in December. The jobs market sucks. Inflation's raging. And Trump's still doing the trade deal with Xi, beautiful trade deal. Where is it? So I would not be touching any trade right now, man. Never. So anyway, yeah, triple piss. That's exactly right. So, all right. So let me get back to what I wanted to do here. Take advantage of this elevated volatility. Maybe a weekly SPX trade. Let's just, and I don't want to force anything, but what's Friday? Hold on. Before I do that, we need to do this. 1 second. All right. Wow, these PMIs sucked. That's another reason the market imploded. Fed lieutenant. Tomorrow. Hey, don't forget, Wiz to Fly. Anytime I jump on an airplane, man, it seems like things suck and the market crashes. ADP on Wednesday. Remember the negative jobs print? Now, are we going to celebrate? Yay, 28,000. That's the forecast. Thursday, flying home, JetBlue out of Palm Beach. A shitload of Fed lieutenants speak. Wow. Are they all at a conference or something, or what's going on here? No. So this is interesting, folks. Remember, this happens often. After a Fed meeting, especially a potentially contentious one, the Fed lieutenants tend to spread out. That's one of so the dissenter for a cut and a dissenter for a no cut. So Thursday we might see some Fed lieutenants can move the market. Friday, non-farm payroll. We're not getting these, right? I mean, they're blank, right? The government's closed, so nobody's at the Bureau of Labor Statistics right now. So we're flying blind with the jobs market. ADP, I use ADP in our companies for payroll. So the market's going to care about that tomorrow. Great point, Karen, is elections tomorrow. I can't believe we're going to, my home state, New Jersey. That lady's nuts. Both the ladies and the Virginia lady. I love how Democrats are frothing at the mouth and voting against an African-American Marine woman veteran. That should be their poster board of success in this country. No, we love our attorney general candidate that wants to shoot political opponents' children in the head. Or the new Senate candidate in Maine who has actual Nazi tattoos on his chest. He's got 2 Nazi tattoos. Oh, that's okay. Wait, so Pete Hegseth has a cross and liberals and Democrats froth at the mouth like, Pete Hegseth has a cross tattoo. Oh my God. Shoot him. Wait, your Democrat Senate candidate actually has Nazi tattoos. Well, that's different. God almighty. Rick, I'm telling you, man, and New York City. I I feel like a parent watching the kid go to the stove. It's hot, don't touch it. It's hot, don't touch it. Now I just cross my arms and smile because I know you're going to burn your hands and it's going to hurt. I don't take pleasure in your pain, but guess what? You're never going to do that again. November 7th. That's a $90 at the money straddle, which means 180. I might throw on a weekly options trade here out to Friday to take advantage of what? These swings, these ups and downs, man. November 7th, sorry. Look at that. What they say, 90 bucks, it's 90 bucks. That's 180. Let me write this down. That's not it, Amazon or E-Trade platform. Their platform's having a shit, now it shows the right one, a shitload of bugs, man. 69.35, 67.55. I like a wide iron condor SPX trade for the week. My bias is to the downside a little bit, folks. Let me start with that. Wiz, I'd rather just throw a roof on for the week. 67.55. 67.55. Oh, that's the bottom. I'm sorry. 69.35. Moron. 69.35. It's a buck. $1.10. Sorry about that. That's even better. That hits my whiz 1 to 0.25. That's not a bad looking trade. Let me just do one contract. $1.15. I like that. Sell a Nov 7 69.35 call. Where is that? That's up at record highs, Wiz. That is out there. What if it market loves ripping this week? Then buy the upside call. $1.15. I'd only go a nickel, maybe 10 cents wide on that. Double the credit you take in, right? If it's $1.15, what's that? $2.30. You write that down on your card and you say maybe eject at $2.30. $1.20 would be great right now. You're risking $3.80 to make $1.20. It's a high probability trade right now too. 1 to 0.32 is the risk to reward. That's the current price of SPX. How do you make money in a bear call spread? It goes down, you make money. What if it hovers all week? You make money. Hell, it can even go up a little bit, folks, as long as it stays below right there, which is called the break even. So 3 out of 4 ways in a bear call spread, you make money. The one way you lose is it just rips. It rips through your break even and you were asleep at the switch. That's your fault. Okay? So, and SPX is starting to roll over a little bit, so we're probably going to lose that. If you want to go, this is conservative. If you want to go aggressive, Wiz, it does look like we're kind of trending down here, 69.25. Why? Because the market likes 25s. So that you definitely could get $1.20, okay? So 69.35. That just did $1.40 real quick. I'll take the $1.40. And you see what's going on? I should always have SPX up in the background because you could see why the price is changing, right? It was $1. There's some premium right there. Now we're doing the 246. You could probably do a bear sniper for today, but I'm focusing on this trade. Let's try, you know, if we try and get back up to 68.50, you could get $1.40 for this trade. Right there. Let me grab screenshots of this. I'll show you how to leg into an iron condor. But I might SPX. I might sit on my hands. 11.3. Might sit on my hands for the bull put spread part of this, right? I'm going to keep $1.40 in there. It's a high probability trade, folks. 77% probability of that max profit. I want to do more of these trades. I like these SPX trades, especially the Iron Condor last week. You could have gotten the SPX Iron Condor, the Fed one. You could have gotten in and out of that a couple times and made some nice money. All right, so I'm going to throw that in. I'll fire that. Let's try and get up here, man. Come on up. What would be the bull put spread? Maybe I'd probably wait. one more time. Let's pull the chart up, just like this is the tech earning, right? We were doing this up and down. There's your rare minerals news that shook the market with Trump tweeting or Truth socialing. We're at war with China again, trade war, implosion. No, we're not. So now we got the tech rip, and I think we're going to head back down to that. What was the 20 again? Let's go look at the 20. I'm going to stick with my prediction. 60, 67, 65. So you know what then? I'm not even going to show you the bull put spread of what I would do because I think we're heading down to the 20. So I'll just put the one trade out for now with all the other stuff we did too. New weekly SPX bear call spread. Thought about legging into Iron Condor, holding for now. I think we fade back down to the 20-day moving average. What was it again? 67, 65. $67, 65. So I like the bear call spread for now. I'm not going to force a bull put spread. But if we do start fading, and it's a fade, it's not a smash, I might, and of course I'll blast this trade out from the conference or wherever I am. But I like just a weekly bear call spread on the S&P 500 for now. Give it to my lifetime, folks. Oops, hold on. I meant to copy and paste that language. That's why I typed it. New weekly SPX bear call spread. Images. All right, questions. Let me bat cleanup now. Let's go around the room. Questions. Did all the short calls, debriefed Amazon. Does anybody want my Amazon stuff here? I can send it. I can give it to you. And it's got the MindMed stuff at the bottom. I can share this from my trade desk. Now SPX is trying to get back up. All right, so there, if you want all the Amazon stuff. Hey, folks, to Rick's point, man, we haven't had a jobs report from the feds in a long time. We've gotten Target white-collar job layoffs. We've had Amazon. We've had UPS, Accenture. We've had in the past, how long has the government been closed? Over a month? We haven't gotten, I think we missed the first jobs report, didn't we? I know it's been so long since, folks, we might get a horrific government jobs number, man. Unbelievable. So, Jeff, I sold short calls out to Friday, thought about a weekly bull put spread, and I said no in case we start to fill the gap. But I wouldn't do a bear call spread because my short calls are enough for Amazon right now. I'm waiting for the dust to settle. And I just shared with everybody all my Chat GPT trade floor. So for anybody who doesn't have Amazon synthetic stock and you're kicking yourself, you didn't do it last week, look at this right here. Would you kick yourself if you got into it today and it's $300 this time next year or 600? So yes to synthetic stock on Amazon today. Unless you really, really, really think it's gonna roll over and fill this earnings gap, and you want to wait. You're the tick, man. You're the trader in command. Gap up, and is going. Do you know if it is going to fill the gap? It might not. It might be one of these. I've seen moves like this, folks. This type of time, gap up, go. when you read, when you know shit, digging everything that Amazon talked about last week, it was filthy. It was disgusting. I mean, hell, after hours, it didn't even, it was up to 255, 257 in after hours trading on Thursday. I was like, holy shit. And that's, I was talking to one of my mastermind group people. They're like, that's not a short squeeze either, man. There was not that much short interest going into Amazon earnings. If anything, it was the opposite, man. There was, when we looked at the short calls last week, and I looked past where I sold some, I'm like, man, there's premium down there. I wonder why. What an idiot. Because there were people out there who were pretty damn sure that Amazon, and I guarantee you, folks, that yeah, it is FOMO. That's a great point. I guarantee you there are people that knew about the OpenAI deal before it hit the tape this morning, and also, got into it. Not a bad point, Karen. Folks, remember, towards the end of, here's your Santa Claus trade, folks. As Karen points out, there's going to be some window dressing. Right now, I guarantee you there's 11:11. We are on the right path. I guarantee you there's going to be some people going, holy shit, we don't have Amazon. Throw on some Amazon now, man. We need it on my annual report to my investors about why I suck. Let's at least throw some good names in it so they scratch their head and go, well, that's weird. All right, time to go skiing. I'll figure it out later why he's underperforming or she's underperforming the market. 11:11, folks. One more time. Here's the link to register for Wednesday's live brief from Harvard. Psychedelic Access. Go faster or slower, and you know what I'm going to say, but it'll be interesting to hear what these other people have to say, right? I want to meet this guy from Johns Hopkins, Dr. Yaden, who is the Griffiths chair, right? Roland Griffiths. We all remember that nice old man. Nicest guy in the world, and who passed away, obviously cancer. This guy is like taking the reins from him, so I can't wait to meet him and listen to what these 500-pound heads are saying. So, and then obviously, if you're interested in joining Sacred Warrior Fellowship, our entheogenic, for lack of a better word, church, there's the link to do the founders brief on November 10th. Really looking forward to this, folks. We're going to be doing weekly briefs, Sacred Circle, manuals, and good stuff, man. And we're going to, you're going to be invited to attend our weekly debrief calls with folks that have recently sat in ceremony. My phone's still blowing up from the guys from last weekend. I mean, it's just absolutely ineffable, right? I can't put into words how I feel after one of these retreats. I'm back to sleeping, right? I had 3 nights last week of up at 3. Literally 3 until 4, the witching hour, when your pineal gland is connected, the most connected to the universe, man. I was still getting downloads. So I'm excited. All right, let me take a screenshot of everything I did today, and I'll post that as well. Orders didn't get filled on my MindMed roll down. I'll go down a little bit more, and then got filled on that. Bear call spread, still not filled on SPX. What they say, plus or minus. Well, SPX is starting to roll over here. I'll try for the $1.20. All right, there we go. Good. Now I'm filled on everything, and I'll post this in there as well on everything that I did today. JP Morgan, man, me and Dwayne, both short. A joint brief. God takes care of fools, drunks, and sailors, man. So base is loaded for Wiz, but I had to get out of that synthetic stock. I will get back into it, man. I didn't have the cash in this account to cover $31,000 of short. So, guys, remember this, man. Holy shit, Wiz ended up short 31,000 bucks of that. This is why you don't want to wake up Saturday morning short in your account. Okay. So. Yeah, exactly right, Dwayne. You and me both, my brother. Holy crap. Larry, happened to me once with Goldman Sachs years ago for 750 grand short. Larry, that reminds me of Options House. We had a guy who he sold naked calls. He ended up $1,000,000, I think it was. The guy disappeared. Our attorneys, and the guy just went dark. We never got it. That's when we tightened up. When you launch your own brokerage firm, folks, you should probably get lessons learned from other brokerage firms, and we didn't, and for various reasons called ego, and we lost $1,000,000. Unbelievable. But you got the cash from the short sale. Yeah. I had to close my synthetic stock position. Yeah. The full synthetic stock position. If I had the 31 grand in my account, I think I had 22. I could have kept my synthetic stock position, but I had to close the full position in order to do that. And I looked out, like I said, because JP Morgan was going down a little bit today anyway. So there's a nice bounce. All right. So I'm probably going to re-enter that, which will be nice. I don't know what's going on with the psychedelics, folks. Like I actually just got a text from the Demorex dude. Still a go for tomorrow. Pick you up at the airport. Vic. Vic is a huge hedge fund guy. He was the number 3 guy at Microsoft. He left there to get into the psychedelic space. The guy is insane in this space. So I will report back what I'm hearing. Obviously, I'll be posting in the Hunters and the Max Afterburner group as I'm gone. Okay. I don't know what happened. I apologize if there was confusion sending the links out. What to do with this one? Just after buying 255 synthetic stock, it started fading. Don't have short call now. Closed Friday. Jan, I don't know if you're in here. Jan, keep doing what you're doing. I did synthetic stock at 55 as well, and I'm lowering my cost basis with selling short calls against it. We're doing bear call spreads or bull put spreads. So with NNE, folks, those nuke names, Oklo, NNE, these are volatile names, man. I mean, that's what this thing does. So take advantage of the volatility by selling. When volatility's expensive, you sell it. When it's cheap, you buy it. Look at this right here, folks. The current implied vol is 117%. Sell that all day. Sell that volatility, man. The highest is 213. This is a volatile name. So Jan, I don't know if you're in here, but yeah, sell calls against. I sold some this morning, and they're already making money. So roll that down. Remember, folks, you lower your cost basis every time. Every time you're doing the short call stuff. So even if NNE just hangs in the 40s for the next couple months, in the next 3 to 4 months, if I'm selling weekly calls against that position, I will lower my cost basis and I will be happy. It'll be free. It'll be a free position eventually. Okay. Loving Amazon, folks. Absolutely fantastic. Loving Amazon. All right. I got to go. I'll send an email out. I'll get the replay posted. Sign up for the Harvard lunchtime brief. That'll be AR because we'll be talking about psychedelics. And then obviously, if you're interested in joining us on a retreat or joining our fellowship for all the good stuff that's going to be coming, we'd love to have you. That brief is November 10th at 7 p.m. Okay. You're going to get access to all some cool stuff that we're launching in our entheogenic church down here in Florida. We might be open in other branches, man. Daniel and Norm are looking at places in Colorado, expanding out of Oregon. Obviously, they're going the clinic route. I'm going the church route, man. This was the most spiritual and religious thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Going from a scared Catholic altar boy to direct communion with God. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your day. I'll check in from Harvard and Boston. Fights on, namaste, and basi. Wiz out.